where other people have to get involved in situations and say, hey, remember, these are the people who, and this is where they started and this is where they are now. The companies I'm thinking about in particular, um, we just qualified them for $1 million home, so we're just waiting for them to find a house. They started out with us with one truck, and now they've blown up.
So you're very heavily centered around the relationship.
Relationship is almost everything,
Okay,
almost everything, but it is extremely important.
great,
Yeah.
thank you.
And not even on just the business level. So say for instance, we have customers who come into our branch at least 2 or 3 times a week or whatever. We're not gonna ask them for ID. We know them. And 9 times out of 10, we know their family, we know the grandkids, we know when they've got the new dog, when somebody graduated, when somebody died, those kinds of things. And so relationship does mean a lot.
In fact, my husband, before being my husband, has always been at M&T.
Okay.
Actually, Provident, and was
Okay.
bought out.
Okay.
And I joined the account when we got married.
Okay.
The teller at our local branch
Mhm.
recognized me from walking our dogs in our
Okay.
neighborhood.
Okay.
I had no clue who she was.
Okay.
And she wanted to know how my husband was doing and the dogs were doing, and I'm looking at her going,
Who is that?
and you know us how. And she said, oh, I'm your neighbor and I live at so-and-so. I had no idea and did not need to see my ID. I was like, here. She's like, no. I know
Right.
you're Jim's wife. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
So actually that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
And I'll share this with you all as well. We had an elderly customer who comes in by herself. We knew she had a son. We had never met him. So this guy comes in with her, and he's sticking pretty close to her, and we're trying to figure out, is everything okay? What's going on? We've never seen her with anyone. So the tellers, we all kind of looked at each other and was kind of trying to figure out what was going on. So the teller that she always goes to says, oh, Miss So-and-so, I'm so glad to see you. I'm going to come around and give you a hug. So she goes around and she says, is everything okay? She's like, oh, yeah, this is my son. She's like, okay. So then she comes back around. And the reason I share that story because sometimes things are not okay, And if you're coming into the bank and you don't traditionally withdraw, large sums of money and somebody's with you that we've never seen, we have to exercise some due diligence, and
Could
you've
be
got to
hostile.
have the human side to this. Okay, what's going on here? And so she got the biggest kick out of that. The son was like, wow, Ma, you must really have a lot of money. And she was like, oh, no. But it's those types of things that I want to share, just how important relationship is. And so that really spoke volume to the son who does not live in this area. And it really let our customer know that we don't look at her as just someone who's coming in to have a banking transaction. It's real, and it's really important. Relationship really does mean a lot. Let's see. So if you look at the middle section of your little folder, and it talks about the product or the service, and there are 4 that are checked off. The advanced business checking, your M&T check card for business, M&T web banking, and commercial savings. And so we kind of packaged those together, and we called that Banking Built for Business. And I'm not going to read it to you, but it gives you the highlights of those products, and it also gives you the benefit. And if you look over at the benefits, I'll talk briefly about some of those. With business accounts, there are fees that are associated with business accounts. But if you notice, with this Banking Built for Business product, there is no monthly maintenance fee. And thanks to the media, I guess they thought they came up with something really new. Banks have had fees forever, but because of the economy and how things are going, we were made to look like the villains in terms of charging fees. But, if you don't take your book back to the library charges a fee. So it just really depends on the perception and how things are perceived. But with the M&T Advanced Business Checking, there is no monthly maintenance fee, no transaction fees for 12 months, and you get a free order of deluxe checks. And you may be wondering, why is that so important? Well, when you're first starting your business, you don't want to focus on, I gotta have so much in this account, or I'm gonna be assessed a fee, or I've gotta make sure that this happens so I'm not assessed a fee. And we wanna give you a year to really get out there and get started and focus on your business. Because if you can focus on your business, it will grow. Versus, oh, you know what, I've got to transfer this money from this account to make sure that I don't get this fee. If you have to do all of that, something's wrong. So you want to have an opportunity to watch your business and focus on your business for that first year. You want to find out what your ebbs are and what your highs and your lows are, what your cycles are. Are you busier in the spring than you are in the fall? And if those are the kinds of things that are happening, it'll help you better prepare for your following year. And that way you'll be able to see what your cycles are. And that's really important to you as the business owner and as the manager of that business. And so we do that. We give you that year to kind of find out, you know, what's going on. In month 11, with the Banking Built for Business, you'll be contacted by one of our banking business partners. Traditionally, it'll be the manager of the branch, because you'll be assigned to one of those, to one of the managers to kind of help guide you through. And so in month 11, they'll sit down with you and look at your statements and see, wow, you really made a whole lot of deposits here. You made a lot of withdrawals here. You had some bumps in the road here. Some things didn't quite clear. You know, what was going on? You know, those kinds of things. And it's really important, because what happens is, as you're out making your money, you really don't want to give it back to the bank in terms of unnecessary fees, return checks, and, you know, those kinds of things. They're costly. A return check for a business account is $40 a pop. And so even if you just do that 10 for the first 10 months of the year, that's $400 that you've given away. And so if you're going to give it away, you at least want to give it to someone who's going to say thank you, or at least give you a donation card so that you can, you know, write it off. So those are the kinds of things that we've taken into consideration with this Banking Built for Business. With our check card, you get $1,000 M&T Bank reward points, and those reward points are really good because you can save them and use them for different things. On the personal side, I use my rewards points because I use my check card all year. Then in October, I find out how many points I have, go to the website, see how many gift cards I can get. I order the gift cards to come in November so that I give them away as Christmas presents, and I don't have to spend money because I've used my rewards points. And so I get to use my money a second time. Those are the kinds of things that, you know, we look at and that we thought about in creating this Banking Built for Business. You may not save your points all year, but you may be able to save those points to restock your office. You may need a box of paper, or you may need printer cartridges or whatever. And so you can then use those points to reduce the cost. So again, it's value-added services that we thought that our business owners could use to put this package together. So that was one of the things that we looked at. Web banking for business, I think almost without a doubt, everybody kind of uses web banking a little bit. There is a part of the population out there that refuses. They are diehard. You will not get my information out there circulating in the atmosphere for somebody to grab. There are those out there. However, a lot of people have migrated to web banking. It is very convenient, to the point now where we have mobile banking. You can have information sent to your cell phone. And again, this reduces the amount of time that you have to spend trying to track your money, trying to figure out what's going on, because that information can be sent to you. And again, you look at the investment of time and the amount of time that you don't have to spend focused on banking. If you look at the last item there, the commercial savings, there's no monthly maintenance fee for that, and you get promotional rates. Again, it's to get you acclimated to using M&T's products and to taking advantage of the benefits that we offer. And so when you look at all of those things together, we thought that it would be really good, and so they called it Banking Built for Business. Once you've got established and you're used to using those first four, then you'll see some of the others that are listed: merchant services, remote check deposit, a business access line of credit, the M&T Visa credit card, and business fast funds. We've gotten to the point now where with some of our business owners, they don't want to go to the bank for anything. And so we recognize that, and we're working in the branch. I'm kind of okay with that. I don't know quite how I feel about that, but that's kind of where we're going. And so if it means that you can sit at your desk and make your deposits without coming to the bank, then again, that gives you more time to do the things that you really want to do and to really focus on your business versus having to focus on your banking. And the less time that you have to focus on your business, the longer it's going to take you to accomplish the things that you really want to accomplish. And so by being mindful of those things and listening to what our customers are saying and some of the surveys and some of the complaints, we were able to come up with this Banking Built for Business to kind of bring all those things together and to offer services and products that were really beneficial and value added for our customers.
And Miriam, I would so agree with you, because today, for example, I did not want to get out of my pajamas. I'm not going to kid you. I get to work a lot from home in my
Okay.
PJs in the mornings.
Okay.
I did not want to have to get up and go to the bank, but I knew I had a rent roll. I knew I had to make a drop,
Okay.
and it was 2 miles away. But it was the thought of having to get up and go do it. I mean, that's where we're living.
Mm-hmm.
But also at the same time, I so value the relationships when I go into the bank.
Okay.
And so I see both sides of it,
Mhm.
and it really needs to come down to where you are in your business. Because if you're about building relationships,
Mhm.
you have got to be face to face with the people that you're doing business with. And it's a good thing, because I counted my rent roll and miscounted it,
Okay.
and Chris was able to recount it and add it all up, which they have to do anyway.
Okay.
But he added another $250 that I missed.
Mhm.
And it that may not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal.
Yeah.
And having the ability to see how they're doing and how their kids are doing and how his mother's doing, and they want to know about you, because when it comes time for you needing something
Right.
for your business,
Mhm.
all I have to do is pick up the phone and say, Chris, it's Tammy.
Mhm.
Can you do
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z?
Mhm.
And it's done.
Again, it does. Relationship means a whole lot, and just like you said, both ways.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that we traditionally do not do, and we can stand firm on those rules and regulations. But also, there are some times when you have to exercise good judgment and step outside of the box. And when there is a relationship, the risk is lessened, and you can make those decisions without giving it a second thought. Because, and here's a prime example, we're not supposed to give out customer balances over the phone. We're just not supposed to do it, because we don't know who else may be listening on another end. You may have somebody that you're trying to, give them some information about, and you call the bank and you say, oh, well, here, the bank will tell you, Well, hands down, we're not gonna, just say, oh, well, your balance is $4,338. But based on the relationship, if we know the person, and since I'm on camera, we may consider, we may consider doing that. And so, those are the kinds of things that, are really, really important. It doesn't sound like a lot, but say, for instance, you're out traveling and you're away from your home base and you're trying to figure out, something's crazy going on with my account. Well, you can call the 800 number and you will not have a relationship with that person, probably. But if you can get to your local branch, hey, you know what, I'm stuck. I'm in Las Vegas and my check card is not working. Can you check to see what's going on? Well, you don't want to press 1 for more options or 2 for whatever. You want a person who's going to get in there and say, oh, you know what, this is what just happened. We can fix that.
Oh, you are so right. I have found more with my business than with my personal.
Okay.
That and I travel a lot, and they know your exact spending habits, exactly where you go. I mean, they watch it. I've learned the backside of what they do.
Okay.
And it kind of freaked me out a little bit at first, realizing that they know everywhere I am and what I'm doing. But once I realized the reason behind it, it was something as simple as I was in the state, but I was out of area.
Okay.
And I bought pizza for my team, for my staff.
Okay.
And within 20 minutes, this is a God honest true story, within 20 minutes, Belgium and Poland had my card number and did a 69-cent immediate scan, did a $439 immediate scan, and then went into the 4,000s. By the time they hit that 4,000 mark, it was 20 minutes, the bank shut my account down. They watched it, and when they saw that 69-cent hit trigger, and that I had bought pizza, and that I wasn't in the area, it blew my mind away. I got an immediate phone call from fraud. I knew something had to be going on, so I called him back. I called my manager, who I have a relationship with. She got right on it, shut my card down. I had a new card overnighted to me the very, very next morning, and everything was fine. And they ended up finding out who they were. It was some music storing, running type of a company. It can happen just like that.
Absolutely.
And it was fascinating because I've gone from Maryland through Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, down through Alabama, down to my properties. And as you travel, for something simple like gas, if they see you traveling, they will shut your card down until you answer that phone and acknowledge that is you making those charges. And at first I got a little upset and I said, are you kidding me? What do you mean? Of course it's me. But then once I got in that abundant mindset instead of the scarcity thing, I was like, you know what, this is way cool. They so have my back. Because it maybe it's not me. Maybe my card was stolen and somebody is running state to state with it. And it happens just like that.
They are so good at the bad things that they do.
Yeah, they are.
That every day we learn something new. And here's just some information for you that I've shared with all of my customers over the last month or so, because it seems to be happening more and more. A couple things. One, if you're going to be using your debit card or your bank check card and you're going to be out of your area, call them and let them know. If you're going to leave the country, call them and let them know. We've had customers who have gone on vacations and all of a sudden their card isn't working, and it's because, we're used to you being in Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia, and now all of a sudden you're in Argentina or you're in Paris or you're doing all these wonderful things, and to us, we're saying theft. You all are saying vacation. We're like losing money, and so the cards get shut down. And it's not because we don't want you to vacation, it's because we're thinking that somebody else is using your hard-earned money. So just give them a call and let them know that you're going to be out, and so that they can kind of be aware of it. The other thing, too, is we've had several customers come in who still write checks and put them in the mailbox. And when you raise your red flag to let the mailman know that you've got mail, thieves also know that you've got mail. And what they will do is they will come along, take your mail out of your mailbox, take your check. There is some type of solution that they're using. Wash the check out and the pay to the order
Oh,
of.
don't tell me that. I just put stuff in my
And
mailbox.
they'll put their name in it.
Do they really do that?
The dumb ones will put their name in it. The smart ones will put somebody else's name in it and take it to another bank and deposit it or whatever.
So don't put mail in our
So you
mailbox.
don't want to, no, unfortunately. It's been happening
Wow.
quite a bit.
I do it every day.
So that red flag
Is a red flag.
is a red flag.
Oh,
It lets everybody know that
seriously.
you've got outgoing mail, and it is unbelievable.
Well, and that's
they
the
are
same with
really
shredding. Everything that has your name and address on it, other than junk mail, and I mean
Yes.
true junk mail, should be shredded.
Yes. Identity theft, unfortunately, is on the rise.
So, Miriam,
Mhm.
I know that you're in Prince George's County, and not all of us are convenient to you where your location is. Is there something special that you have that you provide just for us? Should we come directly to you because the relationship truly is established already? How would if someone in the room tonight wanted to go set up a M&T Business Bank account? How would they do that? Where would they go? Should they go to you? Should they go somewhere local? You know.
Well, a couple things. Because we are in Northern Virginia and we want you to be able to use any M&T bank, what I would really like to do is have everyone just kind of do a sign in. And then what I would do is I would put your information in the system. So whichever branch you go to open the account, I would still be able to get my referral credit. Because one, with me being in Prince George's County, there is no way I expect any of you, unless you're over there, to drive all the way over to open an account. And so there are things that we have in place so that, that can happen. So if you live in Falls Church and you want to come to one of the local M&T banks, then by all means, please take advantage of that, and I'll have your information flagged in the system so that I can get credit.
If
for it.
someone doesn't feel comfortable signing in, which I totally understand, do you have business cards with your information on it?
You know what? No. When I got here and I'm setting up the table, I was like, I can't believe that. I never
Okay.
travel without
Would
one, but-
you mind saying your name and your number and maybe even your email
Oh,
twice?
absolutely.
It's
Yes.
very, very slow. Are you
Sure.
open to that?
Yes,
Because
I
some
am.
people may not want to go on a list because they may not want
Sure.
to get the mail from it.
Okay. No, I'm fine.
I'd like to give them both the opportunity to either sign in with you.
Okay.
If they do want additional information, want to be able to
Okay.
contact you, but at least this way
Sure.
they personally can have your information.
Sure.
Fair
Okay.
enough, guys
Yep.
and ladies? Okay, go for
Okay.
it.
My name is Marion, Marion, last name Taylor, Taylor. My number is 301-868-0299. My email address is mtaylor1@mtbasandboy.com. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. Whether it's about banking bill for business, whether it's about mortgages, reverse mortgage, life insurance. As a benefit to our customers, we do review life insurance policies free of charge. We send them to a third party, so it's not something that M&T is looking at and trying to figure out how we can, maneuver to sell more insurance. We do that for our customers as a benefit, to let you know before you need it, whether or not you're right on target, whether you need more, or whether you have too much. Some people are overinsured, and so certainly that's one of the benefits that we offer our customers.
Do you have youth or children accounts that you, I'm getting ready, I was just asked to join a board for a nonprofit on financial literacy, which is very, very near and dear to my heart. And we want to do a lot of promotion and education around financial literacy, and it all starts with youth.
Right.
And so I'm looking to build relationships with local banks that would help foster and sponsor a young, maybe a middle schooler or, is that what they call it, middle school, junior high, or high schooler. So I know some banks have like a young teens program or savings account. I mean, do you have something for the youth?
What we have is called the minor account.
Okay.
Now, you do have to have, of course, a custodian,
Right.
but of course, it would, the account would be set up for the minor. They would not have access to the money. They can make deposits, they can fill out the deposit slips, but they wouldn't be able to withdraw, and they wouldn't be able to get information on the account. So we actually call that our starter savings, and it's actually a minor account. For older children that are, let's see, late teens, that are about to leave for college, we have what's called an at-college account. And it's specifically set up for young people who are about to go into college or are at college. And again, they don't necessarily have to have a guardian on that account, but if they're 18, they would of course have to have one. And a lot of parents, what we're finding is that they'll do that as the child is going into their senior year of high school, so that they can prepare them before they go away in terms of how to use that checking account, and especially that check card that they're dying to get their hands on. Connecting where the money comes from and how it gets to the card
Right.
is really important, because the dots are not being connected. It really doesn't exist. Oh my, you don't have money? Go to the ATM. We haven't really done a good job in terms of sharing with the kids where their money in the ATM is coming from.
Yeah.
You would be surprised, yeah. So we do have those two types of accounts.
Okay. Any questions that anybody has that maybe hasn't been answered in relationship to running your business as a business, understanding why you need to have the relationship with a local bank, the power that that can have for you, the different resources that are available for you? Does anybody have any questions for Marion with regard to that?
Sure.
Can you open any accounts online?
You know what? You can open personal accounts online, but you're not able to open business accounts online. And basically, reason being, those documents that we need,
Yes.
we have to see those.
If you have both an S Corp and LLC, is there like any kind of discounts you get if you open two different business accounts?
No,
Do you have to have two different business accounts? If you
Well,
have two different companies?
if they're-
I guess you would.
Yeah, if they're two different companies, absolutely. Yes, sir?
Yes, what office do you actually work out of?
I'm at the Clinton branch in Prince George's County. I'm just trying to think. We are south of Fort Washington. Are you familiar with Prince George's County?
Somewhat.
Okay. We're right off of exit 7A from the Beltway. We're right on the corner.
Do you have any branches near Fort Belvoir or Lorton, Virginia?
You know what, as a matter of fact, I did bring a couple of locators. Let's see. Because I know a couple of the Provident banks that we purchased were down in that area. So let's see what we've got for Virginia.
I've already found some down in Fredericksburg, so I imagine you're probably okay in Lorton and Fort Belvoir. I don't know.
Yeah. Let me just, let's see here. Yeah, there's one on Plank Road in
That's Fredericksburg,
Fredericksburg.
but she's called Fort Belvoir, right?
Yeah, which is like
Near Lorton.
Lorton, Virginia, or at
Woodbridge.
bottom of Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay, let's see. So now how far is Lorton, let's see, that's an ATM.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Lake Ridge has a branch, Dale City.
Okay,
Potomac.
I'm about 2 minutes behind you. The wonders of,
Mount Vernon
Richmond,
Square.
there's Mount Vernon Square branch.
okay.
Well,
Sorry, so
Marianne,
wonders of
Oh,
technology.
yes, versus print, I tell you.
is there anything else you feel would be valuable or insightful for you to share with our members this evening?
Really, in terms of, banking, I think you really hit the nail on the head when you talk about relationship. It's extremely important. It's just really important. When you've got that relationship established and you have someone who can kind of, go to bat for you regardless of whether or not you're there, sometimes that can be the difference between things being the standard answer versus, well, maybe let's try and see.
Is that the
Yes, sir.
same level of person that opens your account, or is that somebody senior to those people?
When it comes to making those decisions out of the box in terms of let's try, that would not be the person who opens your account. But what happens though is the person who opens your account is is the introduction, okay? And then after a while, after you get your business account open and you've worked with the manager and they've, kind of built some rapport with you, that kind of thing, and you've met the business banking person, it just kind of escalates up in a good way. And, they say, well, Fred's, this is what he's doing, this is what he's trying to do. Is there anything out there that's coming down the pipe that we could, and it's just like anyone in any other, business. If there's someone there who can kind of speak on your behalf about necessarily you even knowing it, those things kind of go a long way.
Marion, do they underwrite in-house? Do they sell off to the secondary mortgage market? Or, and I guess the next question is, are you able to get loan approval in-house versus having to go corporate?
We don't do any underwriting in the branches. In terms of mortgages and things like that, we do have a mortgage division, and we have a rep that's assigned to our individual branches. And what happens is we refer to that mortgage rep, and we'll be the go-between. We need 2 years worth of taxes, or we need this, or we need that, or if they need statements or something like that.
Both
So,
both residential and commercial, you do have a senior loan officer that the relationship can be built with.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Locally.
Are they rehab friendly?
Well, let me answer that this way. Underwriting.
Not
isn't-
underwriting.
Oh,
The initial relationship with
Yes.
the senior loan officer.
yes.
You have someone local that we could sit down, or, that I could sit down with face to face, build that relationship. I know it'll go into underwriting, it's gotta be hands off.
Right, right.
But there is someone local.
Yes.
Okay. Very
In
good.
terms of them being rehab friendly, I can't really answer that because I don't get to touch a lot of that in terms of what I handle in the branch. That would be more on our business side, because most of the time when there's rehab being done, it's on rental properties or properties that are going to be flipped versus someone who is getting a home equity line of credit where they're just taking equity out of their home to do, remodeling or something like that. But any questions that you have, I'll be more than happy to forward them on in reference to that. Okay. Yes, sir.
Do you fund, like, after you've rehabbed it, to carry the regular mortgage for an investor type of thing, where he's gonna rent out the place, that kind of mortgage?
Again, that will be on our business side, and I'd have to get answers for you for that. Yeah.
Knowing that they're regional, to answer both of these questions, knowing that they're a regional bank, and it sounds like they have a lot of great resources, but knowing that they're regional, probably not. That's where and I mean local, small, community branches where you can walk in. That senior loan officer can touch, see, and feel the property. They can drive by it. They can look at it. They can get out. They can do a draw. They can do a scope. They can, you know what I mean? They can get their hands around it. They usually will do that. And you gotta email me. You know, there's more than enough resources around here. You don't ever also want to have all your eggs in one basket, you know, because they start doing cross-collateralization and stuff like that. You want to have several business accounts in several different established areas, both small, local, and regional. I wouldn't go national because then you're a no-name. Would you agree? But I like the fact that they're from Buffalo to Richmond. I mean, that's a small footprint, but it's still a big footprint. They're even smaller than I thought they were, which I really like. You know what I mean? So the relationship is going to be really valuable here. But when it comes to doing investments and rehabs, you've got to go even smaller down into the funnel.
Well, I was really talking about post-rehab.
Smaller into the funnel. I can help you with it. You got to go way local. Because they've got to be able to constantly drive by and see that asset. Well, Marian, I so appreciate your time because to me, I know it may not be the most sexiest thing in the world to sit here and talk about banking.